Welcome to the Dr. Mary Travelbest Guide podcast. A few weeks ago, I returned from a 90-day journey around the world, and I'm excited to connect with fellow travelers and share experiences about the culture. So today's FAQ is from Leslie, who asked, after my injury/operation, I'm concerned about travel. Can you tell me how hard it is to resume my former step for travel? I know you wrote about the 5 steps, but how should I set my expectations for future travel after I am healed? So here's my answer to you, Leslie. The next step for your travel may be different than your last trip. For example, you may have been on an African safari, and that was a step 5. Now you've had a broken bone or you've had surgery, and you're wondering how to get back out there on your next adventure. You may need to drop down a step or 2 and figure out your confidence again. You can always go on an overnight trip to a nearby city and start with step 1 travel once again. There may be some things you missed or never saw that you've been meaning to visit, and now would be a good time to do so. And now the 60-second challenge on confidence in Sao Paulo. So I'm going to talk about a challenge and an answer. My book series on travel delves into a lot of things about making a difficult situation easier. Things like foreign language communication tips, how to improve your fun while you're solo, and includes places like we're going to be talking about here, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Book A addresses some of those concerns, and look for part C, which is going to be coming along soon. I've also got a website called 5stepstosolotravel.com, or you can check on Amazon. So now let's talk about Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's the capital. It's got 22 million people. It's a step 5 destination. And it's worth seeing for women who like culture, who like neighborhoods, museums, and food. But it's not the easiest or first choice city in South America for a solo woman over 50. It can feel gray, crowded, and tiring. The traffic is real. The scale is real. The safety concerns are real. But if you stay in the right area, move with intention, and do not try to conquer the whole city, you can have a rich 2-day visit that feels strong, smart, and independent. I booked a cheap place on a travel website in Sao Paulo near the airport. Listen to my mistakes at the end for why not to do that. If you've just arrived, you may want to take the metro into town. You can get a 24-hour pass for about $5, or just buy individual tickets. The metro here is free for people over 60, so just show your passport upon arrival at the station. I've got a story at the end about that also. So if you're planning to go, here's a 2-day itinerary along with a few of my comments. So first, on day 1, you should start with the easier parts of the city. Like in the morning, maybe go to Avenida Paulista and the MASP area. So you begin on Avenida Paulista because it's one of the city's best known and most practical starting points for a solo visitor. It's central, it's busy, and it's got museums, cafes, shops, and hotels. And MASP is one of the city's landmark museums and a strong anchor stop rather than just wandering around without a plan. Sao Paulo's official visitor materials also highlight Paulista as one of the city's defining areas. So how about the midday? Take a nice long lunch instead of trying to overpack the day. Don't try to do Sao Paulo in one sweep. Build in a proper lunch near Paulista or Jardins. This city can wear you out. Traffic, sidewalks, noise, and decision fatigue are real. For the afternoon, why not try a park? Parque Ibirapuera. So head to the Ibirapuera Park for a calmer second half of the city. Official city materials list it among the major attractions, and it's a better late afternoon choice than pushing deeper into more chaotic areas when your energy is lower. And then for dinner, try something close to your hotel. This is where you would really want to be aware. It's not the kind of city where you say, go out and see what happens at night. Have dinner in a well-reviewed area near where you're staying and use a car service back if needed. Now for day 2, you're feeling a little more experienced. You want to go to Liberdade. It's one of Sao Paulo's signature neighborhoods and gives you a different side of the city. You go in the morning when you're fresh, when the area feels more manageable. It's photogenic and culturally distinct. It kind of feels like an Asian atmosphere. I felt the Japanese and other Asian cultural influences, which made it different than other parts of the city. Now, here's what to watch out for. Do not confuse interesting with relaxing. Some parts can feel crowded and messy and overstimulating. Keep valuables out of sight and do not stand around consulting your phone at the curb. Now, for lunch, I think you should stay in the same area or a nearby planned stop. You don't want to go zigzagging across the city without a clear purpose. And in Sao Paulo, too much transit can waste time and cause a lot more hassle. Now, the afternoon option, there's a couple of them. So one is going to the municipal market if you like food stops. The Mercado Municipal. It's worth considering for a focused visit, not all day, but just go sample a look around, then leave. Another option is to finish in Jardins or back to Paulista. So if you want another second day return to a more polished area, you might want to go back to those neighborhoods. And then in the evening, I would lean kind of staying in that same area rather than picking a cheaper stay in a less convenient area. That's not because those neighborhoods are risk-free. They're not, but it's because they're more established. They have more services for you. Travel might be simpler. Your friction might be less. So in essence, Sao Paulo is rewarding, but 22 million people, it's a city not to treat casually. And there is crime, including street crime, and Sao Paulo's own metro provides a dedicated safety reporting channel, which tells you something important. Security is an active issue, not an afterthought. And Sao Paulo is not the city to improvise, but it's a city that rewards a solo woman who travels with judgment. Again, it's a step 5 destination. It's not relaxed. It's not a place that I would suggest you just show up, okay? So honestly, if you go early, stay alert, and don't be standing on the sidewalk holding your phone like a lost tourist, you're going to do very well, okay? So it's not casual. Busy doesn't always mean safe, though. So choose your hotel carefully and maybe spend a little bit more to stay in a better location. I was actually able to store my luggage at the airport for the day for about $10, and that was worth it. I didn't have to carry it around with me all day long. The storage was in Terminal 2 in arrivals. It was near the parking garage entrance, and the airport was a pretty busy place. There's also an express train from Luz to the city every 2 hours, and it's called the GRU Airport Train, or CPTM. And you can take the free GRU shuttle bus. And the show notes have more details on that. So here's a few things about what I did when I first arrived in Luz. I got off at the Luz station. It was a beautiful building. It was ornate. The Portuguese Language Center was also located there in the Parque de Luz. The police were guarding, and it felt safe. There were beautiful trees and a very fresh smell because it had just rained. And then I walked over to the Pina Art Museum. There were lots of school groups there. It was modern. Plus, there were some traditional things like films and sculptures and paintings, 3D designs. And then I walked over a bridge to a long street, again, still close to Luz. I walked about a mile and I saw lots of stores and parking garages, some opticals, some toy stores, industrial products. They were kind of all mixed into the same street. Then I found a really nice church, the Church of San Bento. I went in there and I prayed for the people of the city and others in this beautiful building, although no video was allowed. So now I'm going to share my 3 Sao Paulo missteps. Number 1, I spilled yogurt all over myself early in the morning. I don't think I was quite awake yet. I got it on the table, my clothes, the floor, everywhere. What a mess. So advice is to be more careful around yogurt containers. The second one was in the San Bento metro station by the church. The woman at the counter wouldn't give me the free subway access. She sent me to the ticket booth to buy a ticket. There, I showed my passport, and she said, go back to the woman and show her your passport. And I did, and I told her my age. Finally, she smiled and let me pass. So maybe I looked too young for the free transport. And thirdly, booking a room near the airport. So that was not in a good neighborhood. There are lots of reasons not to walk at night, and there were a lot of bars on both the doors and the windows in the home that I stayed in. So I would have found a place downtown in a nicer hotel next time. So I'll see you on the next journey, and please connect with Dr. Travelbest.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travelbest, that is.